There's a feeling you get when you start an old car, not just any car, but one with character. The engine turns over reluctantly at first, coughs, hesitates, then settles into an uneven idle that somehow sounds perfect. You feel it through the steering wheel, through the seat, through your bones. It's imperfect, temperamental, alive, and every time you drive it, you're having a conversation. Now imagine pressing a button. The car silently comes to life, displays a perfectly rendered greeting on a touchscreen, and waits for your command. No cough, no hesitation, no personality. Just clinical readiness. This is where we're heading, and something essential is being lost in translation. Chapter 1: The Death of Mechanical Sympathy. There used to be a term for it, mechanical sympathy. The ability to feel what a machine needed, to sense its moods, to work with it rather than simply command it. You learned your car's quirks, how to coax it to life on a cold morning, when to downshift before a hill, how much throttle it wanted in the rain. This wasn't inefficiency, it was intimacy. You knew when something was wrong before any warning light appeared, a slight vibration in the pedal, a change in the exhaust note, the way the steering felt different through a particular corner. The car was talking to you and you were listening. Modern cars don't want your input. They want your compliance. They'll manage the engine, the transmission, the brakes, even the steering if you let them. They don't need your mechanical sympathy because they don't want a relationship. They want to be appliances. And that's exactly what they're becoming. Smart appliances that happen to have wheels. You don't develop mechanical sympathy with your refrigerator. You don't feel connected to your washing machine. You just expect them to work silently and efficiently without bothering you with their needs. But something dies when that connection disappears. The car stops being an extension of your body and becomes just another device, another screen to stare at, another system that thinks it knows better than you do. Chapter 2: When everything becomes an interface. Remember when controls had weight? When you turned a key that actually connected to something mechanical? When the radio had knobs that clicked into place with satisfying precision? When rolling down a window required effort, intention, commitment? Every action had feedback. Physical, mechanical feedback that told you something was happening in the real world. Now, everything is a touchscreen. Climate control, audio, navigation, even basic functions like adjusting mirrors. It's all been flattened into a digital interface that feels the same whether you're changing the temperature or starting the engine. Tap, swipe, wait for the system to process your request. There's no texture to the experience anymore. No weight, no resistance, no confirmation that you've actually accomplished anything. Just the cold, flat surface of glass responding to your touch with a gentle vibration that means nothing. And when everything is digital, everything can be updated, changed, rearranged by someone else. The interface you learned today might be different tomorrow. The button you memorized might move. The feature you relied on might disappear with a software update you never asked for. You're not learning to drive your car anymore. You're learning to operate its interface. And interfaces change. They evolve, supposedly improve, but they never become familiar in the way mechanical controls do. There's no muscle memory for a touchscreen. Chapter 3: The Subscription Model for Feelings. It starts innocently enough. Enhanced driving modes, they call it. Premium audio experience. Advanced connectivity features. Pay monthly to unlock capabilities your car already has, functions that are sitting dormant in hardware you already own. But it doesn't stop there. Soon, the very character of your car becomes something you rent by the month. Want your electric sports car to sound like it has an engine? That'll be $9.99. Want adaptive suspension that actually adapts the way you like? Premium subscription required. The relationship between you and your car used to be simple. You bought it, you owned it, you modified it however you wanted. Now you're licensing an experience that can be revoked, modified, or held hostage at any time. Imagine if your favorite guitar required a subscription to unlock certain frets. If your bicycle needed monthly payments to access all its gears. If your watch stopped keeping time unless you renewed your membership. That's where cars are heading. Not just transportation, but transportation as a service. And services can be canceled, modified, or priced out of reach whenever the provider decides. You're not building a relationship with your car anymore. You're negotiating a contract. Every month, forever. Chapter 4. When perfection becomes the enemy. The future promises perfect cars. 0 emissions, 0 accidents, 0 inconvenience. Cars that drive themselves, maintain themselves, optimize themselves. Cars that never break down, never surprise you, never ask anything of you except where you want to go. It sounds wonderful. It also sounds sterile, because the imperfections weren't bugs. They were features. The slight delay when you pressed the throttle taught you patience and timing. The way the car handled differently in the rain made you a better driver. The occasional breakdown forced you to understand how things worked. Perfect cars don't teach you anything except how to be a passenger. They don't develop your skills or challenge your instincts. They just transport you efficiently and silently from one location to another. There's no story in perfection, no character in flawless execution, no memory worth keeping in an experience that's identical every time. The future promises to solve every problem driving has ever had. What it doesn't promise is to replace what driving has always given us. The feeling of being truly, personally, irreplaceably involved in the experience of movement. Chapter 5. What we're actually losing. This isn't nostalgia for the sake of nostalgia. This isn't about rejecting progress or preferring inefficiency. This is about recognizing that some things can't be improved by making them perfect. The future of cars is undoubtedly better in measurable ways. Safer, cleaner, more efficient, more convenient. But efficiency isn't everything. Convenience isn't the highest value, and safety, while important, shouldn't be the only consideration. We're losing the conversation between human and machine. The learning curve that made mastery meaningful. The imperfections that gave cars personality. The ownership that made modification and personalization possible. We're trading all of that for transportation that works perfectly but feels like nothing at all. Maybe that's what most people want. Maybe the future belongs to those who see cars as problems to be solved rather than experiences to be savored. Maybe the idea of connecting with a machine is outdated, inefficient, unnecessary. But for those of us who found something irreplaceable in that connection, the future feels like loss disguised as progress. The cars of tomorrow will be faster, smarter, better in every objective measure. They just won't be ours. not really. They'll be leased experiences, managed by algorithms, updated by corporations, controlled by systems that don't need our input or want our involvement. And when you press that button to start your perfectly efficient, completely connected, subscription-based transportation device, you might wonder, just for a moment, what it would feel like if it coughed back